Hi students, and welcome to one of the most important videos that we'll have this year on this channel, which is the form filling video for CAT 26. Now the registration has started. It started today on 3rd of August, and in this video I'm going to give you a complete walkthrough of the candidate portal, the registration process, the payment, all the other specifics that are required. So let's begin. Now, this is the main website, which is the imcat.ac.in. We'll also give a link in the description from where you can begin. And let's start with the important dates first. So the registration started today, 3rd August at 10 o'clock in the morning, and this will continue till 15 September. So you have sufficient time before which you can complete the registration process. The admit card download will start from 4th November, and finally CAT, as all of you know by now, is going to happen on 29th November. A few important things is on this side of the page, you will see a couple of options, and I'm going to tell you which is the one that is relevant to you. So you will have to start here, which is the new candidate registration. After you have completed your registration, all subsequent logins will be from the registered candidate login. So these are the two options that are going to be relevant for you. The other options that are present, this is not for everybody. Firstly, registration of non-IIM institutions for CAT 26. This is not for students. This is for B schools who are planning to accept the CAT 26 score. So these are non-IIMs who will be accepting CAT score, and they need to register for the CAT, right? So they need to register with the authority. This option is not for students. So please don't register here. This is for students who had taken CAT 25. So the scorecard login is still open in case anybody wants to download their scorecard. So again, this is not relevant for people who are taking CAT for the very first time. Okay, so the relevant option is this, the new candidate registration and the registered candidate login. All right. Now, the first thing that you'll have to start is click here, and once you click on register, and before that, I'm going to just give you a quick walkthrough of the documents that you need to collect before you actually start filling the application form, so that you don't make any mistakes. First is going to be your photograph and signature. Now, for both of these, they have clearly mentioned that for photo, firstly, it should not be more than 6 months old. So in case you don't have one, you can get a new one. That's always better. And the dimensions and the file size limit has been given. In case you have file size which is larger, you can always use something like a pickresize.com to reduce the size. Some students have tried using AI in the past, but sometimes it distorts the photo. So I would encourage you to not do that. Use dedicated tools like pickresize. They're always better. Now, this photo is something that you should have more copies of, because you're going to need the same photo to be pasted on the admit card when you go and take the CAT. So have multiple copies of this. For signature, you have to put it on a white paper and then you scan it. For both photo and signature, scan it using a scanner. That is more important, because sometimes if you take a photo and then try to upload, it may not be clearly visible. So that is why photo, signature, both scan it using a scanner. The dimensions for signature is 80 by 35, file format is JPEG and JPG. So photo, signature, SCST, NCOBC, PWD, EWS, whatever certificates or documents that you upload, right, they have to be scanned using a scanner only, so that they are clearly visible. The next set of documents, if applicable, the first is going to be category certificate. For NCOBC and EWS candidates, there are some important dates. So the document has to be valid first of all. For SC and ST candidates, the document does not have a validity. The caste certificate that you have for SC and ST, that does not have a validity associated with it. So the existing certificate can be uploaded as it is. Then disability certificate, if that is applicable to you. We'll talk about these more in detail as we progress. The academic details, you don't have to upload the mark sheets, but they are required because you need to enter the maximum marks and the opt-in marks. So get all your mark sheets, 10th, 12th or diploma, whatever is applicable. For graduation, for all the semester mark sheets, you should have them at one place. Now, this data gathering that you do is always going to help you for other exams as well. So whether you fill, say, SNAP, NMAT, ZAT or whatever other forms, this data gathering is going to help you. You will also need the conversion. So GPA or grades if you have, then conversion formula will be necessary to convert it into percentage. If you have work experience, you need to have the start date and the end date. So get all the documents in place. Again, you don't need to upload them, but start date, end date is required. So have that handy. And finally, to make the payment. So that I need not tell you more about it. It's pretty straightforward. Now for NCOBC and EWS candidates, some very important things is firstly, NCOBC certificate must be issued after April 1st. Okay. Now for EWS candidates, the certificate must be valid for the year 26-27, assessed specifically for FY 25-26. So they're very, very clear as to what the document requirements are. A lot of students every year, they ask questions like, my document was issued in 22-23, right? Can I use it? Or 23-24. Can I use it? No, you cannot. You will have to get a new certificate done. Then candidates who have applied for a certificate but may have not received it at this point of time can wait for a few days in case they know that they're going to get it by a certain date. But let's say by the time CAT registration deadline happens, you don't have the document. Then what do you do? In that case, there's an undertaking which is available on the CAT website. What you need to do is create a single PDF with this undertaking of the NCOBC and EWS certificate, the older NCOBC EWS certificate that you have, and the acknowledgement, because in case you have applied, let's say you applied today. Now you're not going to get it immediately, but you have the acknowledgement. In that case, you can still apply under this particular category by uploading that undertaking, older certificate, and the acknowledgement proof that you have. Okay, so this is the bare minimum information that you need before you start filling the application form. Okay. Now, a couple of questions. What if you make a mistake? And the important thing is, please don't make a mistake, right? The most important thing is to fill it with everything that you have, right? All the data in accurate manner. Don't be in a hurry. In fact, by the time I completed my CAT form today, there are already some 1,000 people who had completed their application form, right? So don't be in a hurry to do this, because ultimately the center allotment process, right, the test city, etc., is random. So it's not like first come first serve, that you apply earlier, which means you're going to get a center or city preference of your choice. That's not how things work. It is random. So that is why take your time. So, but at the same time, don't keep it till the very end. You don't have to wait till the final deadline. Try and fill it as early as possible, but don't make any mistakes. Okay. But let's say even after that, you still end up making some mistake. If you do that, there is a grievance portal that is there. So till last year, I think they used to call it help desk, but now they have changed it. So you can raise a ticket. I'll show you how to do that. There is also a registration form edit window. So every year, what they do is, once the registration deadline is over, for a certain period of time, they will open up an edit window. Now, during this window, what all things can you edit? You can only edit your photograph, signature, and test city preferences. Any other data is not editable in the correction window. That's why in case you have made any mistake, let's say for whatever reason the conversion formula was not correct or whatever, right? It's better to raise a ticket and try and sort it that way. Because if you have made a lot of errors, the only way possible would be to, in that case, to make a correction is to fill a new form. And we don't want anybody to be wasting money unnecessarily. You should take due precaution and then only fill the entire form. Okay. All right. So with that, let's begin. Now, as I mentioned, on the website, you have a lot of things, and I would suggest that you go through some of them. For example, there's the eligibility document, so all of you should go through that. And the registration guide is there, so in case you want to check it out, you can. But if you're watching this video, I'm pretty sure you're not going to need it. The other formats that are there are very important. So if let's say for whatever reasons you have any certificate query, right, you are going to find a format. You can just cross check. A lot of students have a question that I have an existing NCOBC certificate. Can I use it as it is? Yes, you can, provided it covers all the details which are mentioned in the format. It need not be exact word to word, but as long as the details are getting covered, you can upload it as it is. Same is true for the other certificates as well. So you have the scribe affidavit in case that is applicable, NCOBC certificate, EWS, SCST certificate, and all of these things. You can just go through this if it is applicable to you. Otherwise, it's not necessary. Okay. Now let's start the registration process. So when you click on register, the first things that will show you are standard things like browser compatibility and all of that. Use the latest one. I'm sure all of you are already on it, so nothing to worry. And then privacy notice as to why the data is being gathered, for what purpose that data will be used. Then again, similar thing. So the requirement in terms of browser, etc. But the important things here are, one is the correct name, date of birth, mobile number, and email address at the time of registration. The name, date of birth, mobile number, and email address that you enter, you will not be able to modify that, which means you have to be very particular while entering this information on the registration page itself. Okay, because let's say you make a mistake in your name. then the only way to fix it is to create a new application. Now, how do you do that? You will have to use a different email ID and a different mobile number and create a new application, right? So that's just unnecessary. Be very, very careful while entering the information. We have seen students making mistake in their name as well. So be careful and fill this part. Now moving on to the next bit where we have the data to be entered. So you start with name of candidate. Now name of candidate, it has to be the way it appears on the 10th or SSC certificate. So in case, now a lot of students may ask, okay, my last name appears first, my middle name appears first and things like that. This is the way it appears on the mark sheet, because in the form you also have fields to enter the first name, middle name and the last name, whatever may be applicable, right? So this has to be as per the certificate. Then date of birth, email address, you enter it again, country, mobile number and entering mobile number again. Once you do all of this, you're going to get 2 OTPs to confirm both your email ID and mobile number. So you'll have mobile OTP, email OTP. You enter it, validate it, that's it. In case you don't get it, you can resend it. Once done, there is this declaration. You click on I agree and then you move on. Now, after this step, they have done error proofing. This was introduced last year, where they show the information that you have entered once again for you to confirm. And once you click in those checkboxes that are there, then only you can proceed. So at this stage, it will show you in case you have made an error, you will be able to spot that error. So fill this and then you click on close, right? So registration successful, user ID and password has been sent to your address, and now you have it. So that is going to be the thing to use for the subsequent logins. So username, password, you will have it in your email. All right. So now we start with the actual form filling. In case you are already on that window, you don't have to log in again. But otherwise, if you log out for whatever reasons, click on registered candidate login and then you will be able to access the dashboard. So on the dashboard, first things first, it will show you user ID, candidate name, the email address, country, date of birth, and primary mobile number. All of this is getting auto-populated from the data that you entered on the previous screen. Then we start with personal details. So in personal details, this is as per the SSC certificate that you entered at the time of registration. First name, middle name, and last name, this now you can enter. Middle name and last name, these are optional. If you have it, you enter it. If you don't, then you skip it. First name is mandatory. So everything that wherever you have the red asterisk, that is mandatory. Father's name or guardian's name, mother's or guardian's, and then spouse's name, okay, which is optional. Under other personal details, you have date of birth, the gender selection, nationality, and then category. So this is very crucial because you will not be able to change it at a later point of time. So whatever you select and once you submit the form, that category gets locked. There's no way you can change it. So you'll have to select the category. I'll show you what all screens or what all follow-up questions are visible dependent on your selection. The next question is regarding PWD. Do you belong to PWD category as per RPWD Act 2016? Again, yes or no. If it is applicable, you select yes. I'll show you the subsequent screen. Now, if you select yes, first is the disability measurable? Yes or no. Then percentage of disability. All of this data will be available on the certificate that you have. The UDID number, PWBD category. So there's one change that has happened compared to last year, where they used to have PWD category, now it has become PWBD category. Okay, so select the category. Then do you require wheelchair support at the center? Yes, no. And would you be using Scribe for the test? Now, if you select yes for this, the Scribe affidavit, which is available on the website, you will be able to, you can download it and then use it. So the Scribe affidavit, which is available, very importantly, you have to arrange your own Scribe. They are not going to provide you a Scribe from their end. Now for the category selection that we spoke about, depending on what you select. So let's say you select EWS, it will ask you the state or the union territory of the category, and then the caste tribe name will be general by default. If it is NCOBC, certificate issue date is required, state, union, territory of category, the serial number and the caste name. Now there is a tooltip, so you can click on that and access the Government of India website, from where you can gather more information. So for example, the serial number of the category, maybe you don't know it, but if you to find that, you can just click on that tooltip. It will take you to the NCBC website, and from there you can figure it out. For SC and ST students, again, similar option. So SC, ST, select the state or the union territory, and then caste or the tribe name. So the tribe name, again, you will be able to access it from the GOI websites. Next is communication address. So here it's straightforward, so not going to explain it too much. Address line 1, 2, country, state, district, town, pin code, and all of these things. Just enter it and proceed. Now, if the permanent address is same as communication address, you can select yes. If it is different, you can select no and enter it. It will also show you the primary email address that you registered with. If you want to give, you can give one more email address, and the primary mobile number again gets auto-populated. You need to also give emergency contact details. So it could be anybody, let's say your parents or your guardian or your siblings, and so on and so forth. All right, so on the same page, now we have the document upload section. So previously I chose PWD as well as NCOBC as categories, and that is why it will ask me for the relevant documents to be uploaded. In case you have selected general, there are only two documents that you need to upload, the passport and the signature. So here again, they have given some information as to what you need to do. So use a scanner and stuff like that. The name should match with the name that you have given while registration and all of these things. So first we'll have the passport size photo. Now follow the specifications as they have given. Upload the photo here, and once you upload, you will be able to view it. Why this is necessary is because a lot of times students upload a photo which looks nice for whatever reasons. When they upload it, they end up uploading some other file, okay, and then it is either rotated or it is very small compared to the actual size, and so on and so forth. So to avoid all of these issues, right, make sure that you view it, okay. Similar thing for signature, it should not be rotated, it should be the way it is, right. Then comes the document upload, so category certificate and PWBD category. Now regarding NCOBC certificate and EW certificate as well, I mentioned it some time back, but just to reiterate, if you have an existing certificate which is valid and the language is very close to the actual format that is given on the CAT website, you don't have to get a new certificate. It should cover all the details which are there on in the format, okay. It need not be word to word exact. For whatever reasons you have a certificate which is in some other language altogether, it's in a regional language, it's not in Hindi or English, then you will have to get a new certificate, because it is mentioned, and as you go through FAQs also you will see it, that the document has to be in Hindi or English. The regional language documents, you'll have to convert it into English. So that procedure you may have to do if it is required, okay. But they have clearly mentioned it under the guidelines, so please have a look at that, especially for category students. Now we start with the section which is applicable for everybody, the academic section, and again very crucial because this has direct impact on your shortlisting chances, so don't take this lightly. Go through all the instructions that they have given. In case of grade CGPA, the conversion formula will be required, so have it handy with you. And very importantly, you're supposed to enter all the subjects that appear on your mark sheet. You're not supposed to do any best of 5 or whatever. Follow everything that the CAT is asking you to do, which is include all the subjects that appear on the mark sheet. So we start with 10th, and for 10th, the board name, month and year of completion to be selected from the calendar drop down. Maximum marks inclusive of all subjects, total marks inclusive of all subjects, and aggregate percentage. So once you enter this and this does not get auto-populated or auto-calculated. What happens is you have to manually enter it. Now, why is that the case? Because some may have a different procedure of arriving at percentage, right? So maximum marks, opt-in marks, maybe that data is there, but then you have a grade that is given to you, right? Or GPA that is given, you have to convert it to percentage. So whatever is the percentage conversion that is applicable, you use that and calculate aggregate percentage and enter it here, okay. Similar questions exist for the 12th standard as well, so we'll go there. And before that, important things for students who completed 10th and 12th and graduation also in 2020 and 21. So since then, what the CAT authority has done is they give you an option to say that, okay, I was passed without marks or promoted without marks. So here, what you need to do is, and if you select any year of completion which is 2020 or 21, then only this option will be visible. For others, it will not be visible. So you select month and year of completion. The question is passed with marks or promotion or pass without marks. Now, if you're passed with marks, you select this and then enter the maximum marks, the opt-in marks, and then aggregate percentage. In case you are promoted or passed without marks, you can select that and then click on the declaration. Now, please note that they have written that if you're declaring that you were not awarded any marks due to COVID, and if this information is found to be incorrect, Cat 26 holds right to cancel your application. So please be careful at this point of time. Similar options exist for 12th standard students as well. Now for 12th, as I mentioned, very similar questions, so not going to spend too much time. The board name, completion, discipline, maximum marks, total marks, aggregate, percentage. Again, discipline, I'm sure all of you will be aware of it, science, commerce, arts, and so on. So this also has an impact on your shortlisting chances, so select that properly. Then standard things apply, enter all the subjects that appear on the mark sheet. Again, for 2020-21 students for 12th standard, this is how it looks, very similar to 10th standard. And then we go to the bachelor's degree. Now for bachelor's, important thing is all the semester mark sheets are required so that you can enter, you have to add up everything, total marks, obtained marks, etc. So are you in the final year? Yes, no. Have you completed bachelor's? Yes, no. So you can select whatever is applicable to you. Once you do that, the duration of the degree, semester, type of university, state or UT of university, the name, college, degree name, all of this is fairly standard. But in case you have a question, you can always leave a comment on this video and we'll try and get back as soon as we can. You can also reach out to CAT Authority if you have any queries regarding this. Now, if you select, say no there, right? Are you in the final year? No. Have you completed bachelor's? Yes. Then again, questions are very similar. So whatever it is applicable to you, you make that selection and provide the information that they are asking you. Then the next stage is, so we have discipline, graduation stream, month and year of course commencement, month and year of course completion, if you have completed it. And then again, here it is, I've chosen 2020, and that is why it is showing me aggregate marks of promotion pass without marks. So I can select what is applicable and then move on. If you are part of any integrated course, you can do that. You can say yes there. And here, for example, what I've chosen is accountancy, commerce, month and year. Now, my year of completion is 23, so it is not going to ask me this particular question, right? So whatever is applicable, you fill that and proceed. It's very similar to 10, 12, but students may have more queries regarding graduation, considering there's more complexity involved in terms of having different GPA system and grade system, SGPI, CGPA, and so on and so forth. So whatever is the rules that are given by your college, you have to follow it. Now, what the CAT Authority says, right, and maybe you can spend a little bit time there, that in case for whatever reasons, right, you don't have a conversion, right? So what you can do, I'll just take you back there, this part, that in case there is no conversion, and that's what your university or college says, that there's no conversion formula from GPA to percentage. In that case, you can do the opt-in GPA divided by maximum GPA into 100. So that is a line that is explicitly given, but this is only applicable if your college or board does not specify a conversion. If the conversion exists, you have to use it. Okay, so just follow whatever your college or board says. So we are done with this. Now we move to the next part, where in case you have one more additional bachelor's, you can enter it. So the question is, if you are currently in the final year or have already completed another bachelor's degree, then you can provide that information. So click there, second bachelor's degree will open up, and the questions are exactly similar as the bachelor's degree. This is only for students who are pursuing 2 bachelor degrees simultaneously, which is possible to do. Okay. Then regarding dual degree, etc., all the instructions have been given. You can just follow them. The master's degree questions are very similar, so I'm not going to spend more time here. In case you want to enter it, you can, and whether it is in progress, completed, depending on that, the questions will change. But whatever is available, you enter that information. So don't keep thinking that should I enter it, should I not enter it. If you're pursuing it, you can enter it. In the interview, if they ask you, you can always talk about as to why you're doing it, why you did it, and all of that. So don't worry about that part. A lot of students have that concern. I don't think you should have it right now. If it is available, you enter it. Now then comes the professional degree section. So for those of you who have any professional qualification, and by CAT definition, the professional qualifications are only these. CFA, for example, they have not given it in the form. Okay, some B schools in their individual selection processes have weightages for CFA, etc., but that is not a part of the CAT form. So here, firstly, are you a fellow of the Institute of Actuaries of India? Yes, no. If you enter yes, the aggregate marks, course commencement, year of completion, all of those data points will be required. In case you have CA, CS, ICWA, whether you have completed it or you are pursuing it, you can enter it here. So if I select yes, I can select which degree or degrees. Let's say I'm doing CA, CS, or I've done CA, CS both. I can do that, completed for example, right? Or I can have a completed and in progress for the other degree. After this, they will ask you to enter the marks that you have obtained. But what they have given is, so we'll just read it out. In case of multiple degrees, specify marks for the degree with the highest aggregate percent. So let's say you've done both CA, CS, your CA percentage is higher, you can enter that. Then for CACS, inter and final is what you need to enter, and the aggregate percentage will get auto calculated as the average of the two. Okay, so degree, inter, final, that will get auto calculated. The month and year of commencement, articleship period, and course completion. Okay, so whatever data you have, you can fill it. If you don't have professional qualification, this is not applicable to you. You can simply select no for that question and then move on. Then comes another section which will have impact on your shortlisting chances, which is going to be the work experience. So here the work experience has to be, firstly just read through these 8 points that they have given. It has to be calculated as on 31st July. So you'll not be able to select a future date of work experience. Full time after graduation. So anything that you have done which was prior to your graduation month, that will not get calculated. All internships, part-time project, articleship, pre-graduation work ex, none of that is to be included in this particular section. The exact date when you started working and date when you exited needs to be mentioned. The number of days you temporarily exited. Now, what is this? So let's say you took sabbatical. Let's say for 1.5 months you were on a break. Or let's say your company didn't have a particular project, so everybody was asked to not work for 1.5 months, and there was a break, right? So all of these breaks that happen, and these are not temporary leaves that you take. So let's say you took leave for 5 days due to medical reasons. That is not a break. Break is like sabbatical, etc. So in case there was a break, you can mention that. Work experience to be filled in chronological order, latest job experience to be entered first. If you try to alter that sequence, it will give you error. Okay, so last year also or year prior to that, a lot of students would try and enter change the order in which you're supposed to enter work experiences. It will give you an error message. Okay, so just follow that order. Independent professional practitioners, lawyers, doctors, etc., should enter independent professional practitioner, independent professional practitioner, lawyer, etc. So you have to write independent professional practitioner followed by whatever is your role. And finally, if you have a promotion, you can put a comma and enter multiple designations. So let's say you were a junior analyst and then you became analyst, you can mention that. But the start date and the end date will remain the actual start date and the end date. So don't try to segregate the same company work ex with say junior analyst as one entry and then analyst as the other entry. Start date, end date will be the actuals. In the designation, you can write junior analyst, comma, analyst. Okay. Moving on to how it looks. So you enter the name of the organization, designation, start date, end date, break in experience. So I've written 30 days of sabbatical. It will auto calculate the total experience. I can add another experience if I have. So if you have, let's say, 3 experiences, you can enter all of them. It will then finally calculate the total work experience, and this will have impact on your shortlisting. So that is the experience that they will take to award points. So we are almost towards the end. Couple of things remaining. So the first is going to be program selection. Standard recommendation apply to all the programs. The only thing that you will have to do is spend time and select the interview city for each of them, which is a little bit of a pain, I would say. So you have to select interview city preferences for all of them, and all the IIMs, all the programs are listed here, which are through CAT. So you can decide to select all and apply everywhere, right? Is that a bad strategy? No, it's not a bad strategy. So they don't know as to how many, so when you go for a certain interview, they don't know what all B schools you have applied to, right? So don't worry about that. Simplest thing to do is to click here, select all, and enter interview city preferences. Okay, it will take some time, but that's the best strategy. For those of you who may have this thing that, okay, I don't want to apply to institutes beyond a certain point, it's up to you, right? So I would leave that up to you to take that decision, but it doesn't hurt to just select all, right? See, it's always better to apply to more places and then see what happens rather than rejecting institutes at this point of time. See, right now institutes are open, right? So they're saying, okay, fine, come to us, right? But now you start rejecting institutes at this stage. which is not recommended. So apply everywhere. At the end, you can decide that, okay, I don't want to go to, say, a third generation IIM. That's your call. But right now, you're not in a position to take that call. So apply everywhere. Then test city preferences. This is where they have made slight modification compared to last year's form. So till last year, they would give the state and the city as a joint option. So you would have enter your test state city preference. But now what they've done is state is separate, city is separate. So you select the state, you select city, second preference, third, fourth, and fifth preference. So this is in order in which you want the test venue to be. So the city, and they also done some clubbing, which is what I noticed. So if you select Maharashtra, for example, you will see that Navi Mumbai is also clubbed with slightly broader geographic area, as you will see, which wasn't the case, I think, earlier. So select the order in which that is the most preferred order for you, and you're done. Note that this is random, right? So don't think that you will always get the city one preference. That may not happen. And just because you're filling the form today doesn't mean you will get the test city preferences. The way ZAT had done this year, that if you fill it on day one, then you get your first city preference. That's not the case here. So take your time, fill the form accurately. That is more important than rushing it and just trying to fill it on day one. Then finally, declaration. So we have completed all the steps. We will just click on declaration then. So it will show you the name, the registration fee, 2,700 for general and EWS candidates, for SC, ST and for NCOBC. For SC, ST and PWBD, that's going to be half of this, which is 1,350. Okay. And then finally, declaration. I have previewed the application form, and please preview it. Okay, so don't click on it without previewing the form. Very, very important step. Go through all the data points that you have entered, and when you are certain that, okay, I have not made any error, I have completed it accurately, then only proceed. So I have previewed. By clicking on the checkbox, I acknowledge that I've read, understood all of that thing, all T and C, and then there is alert. This alert is there for a reason. Editing of any data field after submission is not possible. So that is the essence of it, right? So take care, ensure that everything is complete, then only proceed. Please preview, please download the document, check all the details, and then only proceed. And once you're done, this is the confirmation that you will see. So your application has been submitted successfully, your payment is successful. You'll also get a confirmation on your mobile as well as your email ID, and that will contain your CAT ID, etc. And as you can see at the top, there is a grievance portal. Next to that, you have download application. So just download the application and keep it with you for reference. Generally, it will not be required, but I mean, during this particular stage, from now till the actual CAT happens, but it's better to always download your application form and keep it with you. Grievance portal, this is how it looks. So in case you have any query or concern, you can click there and raise a ticket. So problem category, for example, is application form. Problem type, okay, document related queries, maybe photo signature not visible, status, timelines, change of information, document queries, ID proof, image upload, qualification issues, and so on and so forth. So if you have any issue, you can raise a ticket. Some supporting documents and screenshots might be required, so you can upload them and then wait for them to get back. Okay, so again, but the best thing that you can do is don't make mistakes. If you make a mistake, reach out to them before you decide that, okay, before you jump the gun and say, okay, I made a mistake, I'm going to fill a new form, right? So don't waste money just like that. And finally, very important is the FAQ page. Okay, so every year students have a lot of queries, and the best thing that you can do before you ask it to somebody else, right, is to go through FAQs and see if that question is already listed. You can just search for that question, you will have the answer that you actually need, right, before you ask somebody else and then end up making a mistake in the process. So registration, category selection, exam, and PWBD, whatever queries you have, the answers are actually here. But if you still have any questions and you don't find the answer here, please let us know via the comment section. You can leave a comment and we'll try and get back as soon as we can. So that's about it. With this, we have completed the CAT application, CAT 26 application form. And I hope this video has helped you. If you have any questions, let us know. If there's any feedback, let us know. Thank you so much for watching. Wish all of you all the best, and keep practicing. Don't lose the momentum. You still have a lot of time before you face the CAT. So I hope that it works out well for all of you. Thank you so much for watching. All the best, and I'll see you soon.